morning and welcome back to today's Heroes Log Cabin. You want to know what's going to happen today at the Heroes movie tents? Let's go!
Hey, I'm Pearl. When stranded, Jesus rescues me. Let's go meet Reverend Solomon.
It's exactly 2 years ago. My dad fell very sick and it was very difficult for us to lose him. My dad clearly belongs to the Gypsy tribe. His village was situated in a very deep forest, in a valley which was surrounded by mountains and many kilometers of forest. And it was crazy that no one would have ever thought that someone could reach this place because it is so deep into the forest. A missionary from Norway, her name is Ms. Regina Hansen. She came walking about 15 kilometers into the forest and she found my dad's village in this dark place where no one could probably reach. This is in Tamil Nadu, in the district of Dharmapuri. Gypsy village is usually called the Tanda. So he lived in a Tanda. First time when she came and she gave him a Bible, my grandfather, who had studied only 4 years of schooling, he began to read this book. When he read it, he said that he felt somebody talk to him through these pages. But he said that I haven't experienced anything of this sort like I do when I read this book. And I wish someone would tell me more about what this book is speaking about. This missionary came and found my dad in the village. And in the beginning when she came, she didn't know the language, so she tried to make accents and talk to them. But she was the carrier of the gospel, and then she's the reason why my dad came to the children's home. Because she asked my grandfather, my dad's dad, if she could take them meaning my dad and his sister, to give them an education and give them a better life. After that, she brought him to Bangalore, where he did his bachelor's in theology in the Southern Asia Bible College. My dad received a call to be able to go back among his people to minister the gospel.
Wow, so your father had a goal to go back and minister to his people.
Yes.
Just like how the missionary rescued your dad was going to go and rescue a whole lot.
Whoa, so kids, guess what? After Reverend Solomon received his call, he was at SABC completing his studies, waiting to go back to his village. But little did he know, parallelly God was working in another man's life, all the way in France, just to unite these two heroes.
There was a man in France who had a call on his life and he ministered there. He carried the gospel to the people in France. On one of his trips on his bicycle, this is back in the 60s, he found a gypsy camp on the way. And this gypsy camp does not look like gypsy camps here in India, where there are little tents. But there, he saw these little caravans parked along the side of the road, and there were so many of them. And on one of his trips, he thought he should just stop because he had heard what kind of a reputation these gypsies had. So he'd heard that they're rejected. He had heard that they are thieves because every time they would go from place to place, because they're nomadic, right? They go from one place to another, they stay and then they move again. And he wanted to know more about them, and he started to research. And he saw that the gospel was not reaching them, and he really began to have this incredible burden for the gypsies. So he began to find and look for answers to see where did these people come from. And then his research led him to see that they come from India. Search was futile because he didn't find even one gypsy. He didn't meet even one gypsy. But he kept coming. Maybe God just kept bringing him back. This was in the year 1979. He had heard that there was a gypsy boy in Bangalore, so he came to the SABC, and during chapter time he met my dad in this place, and then he spoke to my dad and he said, would you like to work for your people with me? I said yes, and they shook hands and they embarked on this journey to start the work. Well, shortly after my dad and mom got married, they worked in a children's home, in fact. They
Here
took
in
care of-
Bangalore?
No, this was also in the district of Dharmapuri.
Okay.
So they took care of one children's home. It was for the gypsies, and then they moved to Bangalore, and that's how they began the work here. And then they started the Bible college here for the gypsies specifically, and by then there were many children's homes opened, and then after that more children's homes, and then it led to being 54 children's homes as of now, with almost 2,000 children altogether.
Dear children, just as Reverend Solomon reached out to stranded and marooned people, we too can reach out to help our struggling family and friends. God bless you. And let's not forget our Bible verse for today, where Pearl the pilot whale reminds us in Isaiah chapter 43 verses 25, it says, I, even I, am he who blots out your transgressions for my own sake and remembers your sin no more.